Welcome back to video 2. In the previous video, again, we're in week 11. The previous video, I went over some of the activities from last week's lesson on opinion paragraphs. In this video, I'm going to start by finishing off that unit and going over the vocabulary, and then we'll go through the new topic, which is narrative paragraphs. So we are, if you want to follow along in your books, we're on page 174. Obvious, if something is obvious, it's very evident, very easy to see. Okay, and let me grab my pen here. There we go. Something's evident, it's obvious. Mandatory means you must do it, so then you are required to do it. A burglary is where someone steals from you, so that is taking. If you set up something, you're not changing it, you are kind of designing it or planning it. Right? The point of view, how someone sees something from their view, that would be their opinion. If you split something, you are dividing it. Like, let's split this pie in half. You take half and I'll take half. We are dividing it. If you ban something, that means someone is not allowed to do something, so you are prohibiting it. Severe. Something's very severe that has a negative connotation to it. Severe. Without a doubt. There's without a doubt. So there's no doubt, so then it is certain. A drawback is a type of a problem, right? We're doing this project, but we've run, you may hear this in a movie or a TV show. We've run into a few drawbacks or setbacks. And those are problems. If you downplay something, you make it seem like it's not as big as it is, so you are minimizing it. Duties are things that you have to do for work. If something is entirely, that's completely, totally is another word for that. Voyage is a long trip. And if you want to convince someone, you need to persuade the person. For collocations, for example, or but also. So not only X, but also Y. To protect your home from burglaries, first of all, to offer a solution, to give a solution. If you wanted to use agree here, you could, but you would need another to. You could say to agree to a solution, means you are agreeing to something. But how this is now, you have to say offer. To spend money on food. I spent a lot of money on food last week. I spent a lot of money. These days, I don't spend much money on gas because I don't drive very much this semester. This is a good one for your attendance question. I'll ask you, what do you spend money on? Or what did you spend money on last week? Rather than a mode of, a type of communication to cause damage, a controversial. So if it's controversial, we talked about that in our opinion paragraph. That's got to be an opinion, so it can't be a fact. A controversial issue. And to waste time doing something. Don't waste time playing video games, right? Don't waste time doing something when you should be doing your homework. For example, okay, you also had your paragraph, and I'm still in the process of reading and looking at those to give you feedback. I'll have that back to you soon. If you haven't already gotten it by the time you watch this. All right, Unit 10, narrative paragraphs. What is a narrative paragraph? Well, when you hear this word, you should think of the word story. A narrative paragraph tells a story. A story. Okay, so maybe an event, something happened. You've got a beginning, middle, and end. And often tells from the writer's life. So it's pretty common to use that pronoun I, right? I, me, because it happened to you. Okay, so we already said it tells a story. The opening should give us some background. Should have a clear beginning, middle, and end. It's good if it's entertaining and tells us something, teaches, informs us, kind of teaches us something, and uses good language. You want the reader to feel like he or she is there. Like when I read your narrative paragraph, I should feel like I'm right there with you while this is happening. Okay. So the topic sentence in this case gives background information about the action that's going to happen. And look at this. This is a great example of a narrative paragraph. Let's check this out. All right, so I told you that it would probably use I because it's happening to a person, and that's indeed what's happening. So look at this topic sentence. I never thought I could do it, but I finally conquered my fear of public speaking. Okay, so right away, this is a good topic sentence for a narrative paragraph because this is a fear that most people have, right? Speaking in public, giving presentations, people are afraid of that, terrified of that. But this person got over it. I conquered my fear, right? So I'm already interested. Okay, I want to know what happened. I want to know how he or she did this. And so I'm going to keep reading because I want to find out more. And so now we'll move into here, what they call the beginning of the story. And here's the story. So at the beginning of the semester, my English teacher assigned us the daunting, difficult, scary task of speaking in front of the class for 3 minutes. And I worried about it for the next 2 months. So the writer spent 2 months worrying about this 3-minute speech. I have always been afraid of making a speech in public. I wrote all of my ideas on note cards. I practiced my speech with my notes in front of a mirror, in front of my cat, and in front of my husband. Would I be able to make my speech in front of my class? Ooh, so I'm already wondering, oh, what happened? Here, she used a question to make us even more interested. So this is all background, right? Before the speech. In the middle of the story, when the day of my speech came, I was ready. As I reached the podium, I looked at my audience and smiled. Then I looked down at my note cards. At that moment, I realized that I had the wrong information. These were the notes from my biology test, not the information about my speech. Oh no. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Without further hesitation, I began the speech. To my surprise, the words flowed from my mouth. Wow, this is exciting. I did not expect this to happen. 3 minutes later, it was over. Everyone applauded my speech that day, and I left the podium feeling like a winner. Okay, that's a great narrative paragraph. It's got a background, a sentence that gives us the background, tells us the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. Okay, and then this gives you more detail there. All right, so we're going to analyze some narrative paragraphs here. This is about a time the writer was scared. So before you read, of course, think about this. Everyone has felt really scared. What about you? When was a time that you felt really scared? What happened during that time? Think about things around you, adjectives that can describe what was around you at that time and how did it end. Oh, wow. Look at that shopping mall there. Okay. Oh, I love the title already. I'm already excited about this. My department store nightmare. Every department store trip is a nightmare for me because they're usually crowded, they're always expensive, and parking is difficult. So I usually avoid department stores if I can. All right, so we get our background in our first sentence, our topic sentence. I'll never forget the first time I got lost in New York City. Okay, that's the background. Where she is, New York City. Oh, this is a boy, sorry. Where he is, New York City, and what happened, got lost. Okay. I was traveling with my parents during summer vacation. We were in an incredibly large department store, and I was so excited to see such a huge place. Okay, so I would say that's probably the beginning there, right? Suddenly, I turned around to ask my mom something, but she was gone. Oh no. I began crying and screaming at the top of my lungs. At the top of my lungs just means extremely loudly as you can. A sales clerk came up to me and asked if I was okay. She got on the public address system, so the speaker system, and notified the customers that a little boy with blue jeans and a red cap was lost. 2 minutes later, my mom and dad came running toward me. We all cried and hugged each other. This story took place over 20 years ago, but every time that I see a department store, I am reminded of that terrified little boy. Okay. So topic sentence we said was, I will never forget the first time I got lost in New York City. So where does it take place? In New York City, yes, but more specifically, in a department store. How old do you think the boy was? I don't know. What do you think? Maybe 5 or 6. I'm thinking maybe even a little younger. Number 4, what is the beginning of the story? So he was in a large department store. What is the middle of the story? I would say actually the middle is probably he started screaming and crying. And the end of the story, his parents found him. Okay. Okay, then we have another one here about an embarrassing moment. So pay attention to these examples and the topics that they use so that you can begin to think about what kind of narrative paragraph you would like to write. What happened in your life experience is something you could write about. So we had a time when someone felt scared, and now we have a time when someone feels embarrassed. Okay, and we got food here. We can guess that it's going to be about something happening maybe in a restaurant, Mexican restaurant. Yes. Okay. We'll do this one too, and then we'll skip down. Actually, no. I'll let you guys do this one on your own. So read this one and answer the questions just like we did for the first one. This one is about time when someone was unhappy. It was related to having a best friend. So there's another example you could use. So here, this is finding good topics. So remember, the narrative paragraph is about your experience, so something that happened to you. So my best friend Luke, that would be a good one. How to become a doctor. If you are a doctor and you're going to tell maybe how I became a doctor, that could be. But for now, we'll just say, I don't know about that one. The day I almost died, absolutely. That would be fascinating. Natural disasters? No, it's not really about you. Dalmatians? That's about dogs. No. A wonderful day in the mountains? Yeah, if you had a hike in the mountains and you're writing about your day, that could be a good narrative paragraph. Here we have a note about using vivid. Vivid, when you hear the word vivid, think about very colorful or very clear language, because we want to help people see what's happening. So you'll need lots of adjectives to help you describe it. Okay. So here we have our sequencing activity. Find number one, and then work down from the topic sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 through 7. Okay, and once you're done, you can copy it into here. Again, some people might feel like just copying a paragraph is a waste of time, but remember, this is a chance for you to see what good writing looks like and to actually feel it come out of your pencil or pen as you write down a well-written paragraph. How those words come string together. So it is a good activity. It's a good thing to do, even if it might seem like it's not that useful. Actually, even famous writers do this when they already speak the language. Famous writers, when they're young, often they will look at a writer they love, and they want to not copy the writer, but they want to write well like the writer does, and they'll just start copying the writer's words and keep doing that until they just start going off on their own, but they've got that rhythm down. And that's what this kind of activity gives you a chance to do that here with your writing. All right, language focus and verb tense consistency. This means using the same verb tense throughout your paragraph. You don't want to be moving back and forth like present tense, past tense, present tense, past tense, etc. So this is a narrative paragraph talking about an experience you had. So you're probably going to be using past tense. If you wanted to feel even more immediate and like the reader is right there in it with you, you could use present tense as well. But whatever you choose to use, you want to be consistent throughout your paragraph. Okay, so in this activity, you're to circle the verbs, and then you're going to answer questions about the verbs. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then you'll see the questions. What tense are most of the verbs in? So are they in past, present, future? And then, but if you are not in that tense, and try to figure out why some verbs are in a different tense. This is a grammar activity, just correcting verb tense. So they should either be in the simple past or past progressive. Okay. Okay, here we've got some teacher comments about this paragraph. And you're going to match each comment to the correction needed in the paragraph and write the number on the line. Okay, so number one, your first sentence is too specific. Who's her? Your topic sentence should tell the reader what the paragraph is going to be about. So then, of course, that's related to this one. My family and I went to her house. Yeah, who is this? You can't just do that. So you would need to start by, in the topic sentence, giving us some background and letting us know who you're talking about. Okay, and you can continue like that. And so for this one, it's number one. I would just put that right here, right? Number one. You're gonna need to read this one and go back up here and look and see, okay, which of these comments goes with this paragraph, okay? And then do the same for the others. All right, building better vocab. You've got your vocab words. Go ahead and figure out which ones match and then collocations. For online writing practice, you're going to write a narrative paragraph about an experience that you've had. Follow these guidelines. So this will be homework on Canvas. And so that's going to be homework 1. And then homework 2, it's going to be a second online discussion. You're going to pick one of these topics here. So online discussion 2 will be from here. Online discussion 1 will be here. Okay, and also remember that there is a quiz. Right? There is a quiz in week 11 on Canvas. And so, as always, if you have any questions, please send me a message on Kakao. I look forward to reading your paragraphs. And that wraps up week 11. So have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.